Ncert Class 6th Science Lesson number 14 Water. What we will learn? Importance of water, uses of water, how much water do we use, water sources, water cycle, evaporation and transpiration, condensation, precipitation, collection, and water conservation. So this is the mind map. Water. Importance of water and water sources. Circulation of water in nature. Evaporation and condensation. Precipitation. Water cycle and rain. Uses of water. Domestic purposes. Agricultural purposes. And industrial purposes. Conservation of water. Methods of conservation of water. Rainwater harvesting. And glossary. Drought, flood, groundwater, hail, rainwater harvesting. So, the importance of water is that water is an elixir of life. What will happen if you don't get fresh water to drink? What will happen if you take out a fish from water? What will happen if you don't water the plants for a couple of days? So life is not possible on earth without water. Water is white gold. Uses of water. Use of water in living organisms. Water helps to absorb minerals from soil. It provides habitat to many animals. It helps in transportation of substances in body. Domestical purposes. Produce electricity. In industries, water is used. Agriculture, recreational activities, transportation are other uses of water. Water is also used for domestic purposes. For industrial purposes, it is used 23%, and for agriculture, it is used for 70%. So imagine your family gets just one bucket of every day for a week. What would happen? How much water do we use? You won't be able to cook, clean utensils, wash clothes, bathe, and much more. List activities that you won't be able to do. What happens if we don't have easy access of water? Are there any regions where people do not get adequate amount of water? How do they manage? So, these are the water sources. If I consider the water on earth as a circle, then we conclude that the amount of salt water or saline water is more than fresh water on earth. Saline water contains more dissolved salts, not fit for human consumption, present in seas and oceans. Majority of Earth's surface is covered with saline water. Fresh water contains less dissolved salts, fit for human consumption when purified, present in river, lakes, ponds, etc. Fresh water is less in amount and compared to saline water. Ocean and sea water are saline. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Oceans play an important role in supplying water that we use. But the water that we use is not salty at all. We stay far away from oceans. How does the ocean water reach ponds, rivers that supply water to us? That is where the concept of water cycle comes in. So there are three forms of water, which are solid, ice, liquid, water, and gas, water vapor. The concept of water cycle is that there are four stages of water cycle: evaporation and transpiration. Water vapor enters into atmosphere. In condensation, water condenses to water droplets. In precipitation, condensed water droplets become heavy and fall on earth. And in collection, fallen water gets collected in oceans, lakes, rivers, or on land. This continuous circulation of water in nature is called water cycle. Let's talk about the process through which water vapor enters into atmosphere: evaporation and transpiration. What helps the wet cloth to get dry? Why does the spilled water on floor dry up? When we boil concentrated salty water, what disappears and salt is left behind? Water in each case converts into vapor. We find that heat is essential for this. Lagoons, places where salt is obtained from seawater. Due to heat of sun, seawater collected in lagoons disappear and leaves behind salt. Take two plates filled with water. Place one in open under sun and other in shade. Observe water level in both plates after some time. In which plate does the water disappear first? Which is the source of heat for the evaporation? Water in plate placed under sun disappears first. Source of heat is sun. Evaporation. Due to heat of sun, the water from water bodies continuously evaporates and forms water vapor. Water vapor gets continuously added to the air and rises up like a balloon as it is light in weight. Amount of heat decides the rate of evaporation. Normally, in nature, it is slow, so oceans never get dried up. Transpiration. Leaves have small pores on their undersurface which are called as stomata. Through stomata, plants often lose small quantities of water in form of water vapor. This is called transpiration. Condensation. Let's talk about the process through which water vapor turns into water. Take an empty dry glass. Put some ice cubes in it. Observe the outer surface of the glass and record your observations. We can see tiny drops of water on outer surface of the glass. Why? Why does the glass get wet from outside? Due to the ice, the air around the glass gets cooled. Air contains water vapor. Water vapor around the glass undergoes condensation. This forms droplets of water. Condensation. As we move higher in air, the temperature decreases. As water vapor rises higher from surface of earth, it gets cooler and cooler. At sufficient heights, it condenses to form tiny drops of water called droplets. Condensation. These tiny droplets float in air and appear as cloud. Many drops of water come together to form larger sized drops of water. This is how clouds become heavy. Precipitation. Let's talk about the process through which water turns back to earth. Water that falls on earth in any form: rain, snow, sleet, or hail. The drops of water become very heavy and fall down on ground as rain, hail, snowflakes. This is called precipitation. Let's talk about the process through which water is collected back to water bodies, which is called as collection. Snow in the mountain melts into water. This water flows down the mountains in the form of streams and rivers. Some water that falls as rain also enters river. These rivers meet the ocean or sea. A part of rainwater is absorbed by the ground and seems to disappear in soil. Same water is brought back in atmosphere by evaporation and transpiration. Groundwater. Rainwater that seeps into the ground forms underground water. Different sources of groundwater, open wells, hand pump, or tube wells are used to draw water from underground. Causes of depletion of groundwater is excessive use, loss of vegetation, and concrete land. Now, water cycle. This continuous circulation of water in nature is called water cycle. What is water conservation? Careful economical use of water without wasting it is called water conservation. The basic main way to conserve water is called rainwater harvesting. If we don't catch the water when it falls on ground, we may lose the match of water conservation. Rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is a process in which raindrops are collected and stored for future use rather than allowing them to run off. There are two types of rainwater harvesting: rooftop rainwater harvesting and open drain rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting collected from rooftop are stored in storage tank with pipes under the ground. That are water goes directly into ground from the roadside drains that collect rainwater in open drain rainwater harvesting. Why should we conserve water? Water available for use is limited. Drinking water decreasing with overusage. Demand of water is increasing with rising population. More water is used for production of food and industry. If we do not conserve water, the water damages. Damage of water causes drought and flood. What will happen if it does not rain for a long period of time? If it does not rain, soil continue to lose water by evaporating and transpirating. Since it is not brought back by rain, the soil becomes dry. Groundwater may become scarce and this will lead to drought. It is difficult to get food and fodder in drought-like conditions. Drought is a hot and dry land that has no water at all. What if it rains heavily? Water spreads over large area causing flood, leads to rise in level of water in rivers, lakes and ponds. It spreads in surrounding areas and many places get submerged in water. Many animals living in soil and on land die. Flood is the excess of water which is overflowed. Thank you. Flood. It is that there is excessive of water which is overflowed.